Welcome to Gettin to Know the 570, brought to you by ConversionWorx Media, a show that hosts special guests from in and around Northeast PA to share their stories, knowledge, and experiences in their work and personal lives. And now, here's your host, Frank Sepko.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Getting to Know the 570. As always, very excited about our guest that we have graced us with his presence today. We have Gene Philbin from, did I say that correctly?
Yes,
Gene Philbin,
absolutely.
From the Peculiar Culinary Company and the Peculiar Slurp Shop in Scranton. We are all big fans here of the product that you have, the passion that you have, and when we heard that you were interested in coming in to talk, we got very excited.
Awesome. Well, I got excited to be asked, so thank you for having me.
Yeah, and also today we have a co-host.
Hello.
ConversionWorx very own business development director, Julie Loomis.
Hello, everybody.
Now, Julie has a history with Gene. Gene has catered Julie's wedding, right?
Absolutely, and it was amazing.
Oh,
he
thank
did
you.
an incredible job.
So
And
Julie, you had to be in on this one today.
I know, and trust me, I'm happy to be here. Gene is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
And I will tell
very
you,
much.
before you came here, I said he is the most passionate restaurant owner I've ever met in my entire life.
Thank you.
So it's a pleasure for me to be co-hosting.
So this is new, too. Gene comes in today and he says, hey, I was listening to your episode with Benny Brewing Company. And Gene says, I'm good buddies with Benny. And then he rips out a cooler and says, I brought in some Hoppenstein for you guys. So let's do the smell-o-vision, because in honor of Gene doing this, I'm going to go ahead and crack this open. Oh, that is a Hoppenstein. Ooh, I could smell that already. And let's do a little cheers here.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for coming in. This is going to be awesome.
I just learned today that this was the first beer he ever brewed. And
Yeah.
I learned that from your podcast.
Yeah, pretty awesome,
Which is
right?
pretty exciting. I actually thought the wit beer was, because I don't know why it's the first one I remember. And when we used to go to Marty's, I was working at Arance at the time, and we used to go, I don't know, once every couple months, like to some restaurant, get the whole crew together, and that was one of them. And you know,
How about the story of Ben being 9 years old downstairs and sauteing
scallops? Yeah,
that-
of all
is
the
that-
things.
That's amazing.
I can't think of a 9-year-old on the world that likes scallops, but yeah.
I mean, that's a terrible life, I guess, being able to go down.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they were known for their steaks, I guess, but their seafood was always awesome. All the food was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's nice to see him doing so well up there, and
Yeah.
you know, he's got a big place. He really rolled the dice, and I'm so happy to see it working out. It's good for the area. It's good for him. He's a great dude.
Yeah.
And
It makes you feel, too, when you're there, you kind of feel like you're not in this area.
yeah, for sure. Like we were just talking about like Bronx Brewery, and like you're at a brew pub and wherever, anywhere else.
Right.
Seen places like that down the shore or in Dewey, things like that. And yeah, it's really neat. We were just down, my wife and I, well, not just before the pandemic, we were down in Nashville, and places like that they're pretty common and they're fun. So it's really cool to see that up here and doing so well. And he's got the music, and now he had the wood fire
Pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's something.
Have you had it?
No, not yet.
Oh,
no,
boy.
he wants me to come up and play though soon. So as soon as I could get I'd love to get off the line on a Friday and go up and play.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what. We just I was there last week, and we were messing around, and we had the idea of taking his house-made pastrami, and we made a Reuben pizza.
Oh, I saw that on Instagram. Yeah,
That was my pick.
You were involved in that. Huh?
I was sitting right there, and I said, what if we took this? And Ben's like, let's make a Reuben.
Yeah.
And so we made a Reuben pizza, and then it came out, and I said, hold on, I need to snap a photo of this.
For sure.
And we put that out. I said, I'll bet you people will respond, and that photo blew up. So I think it's going to be on special this week.
I remember I was grunting at it, and my wife Miranda was like, what are you watching on your phone? Are you watching like a celebrity sex tape or something? I said, nope, pastrami pizza. She's like, oh, that makes more sense. Yeah.
I'm
just
so
going,
good.
oh.
Yeah, and he doesn't do he does a remoulade instead of a Thousand Islands,
which is very cool. Something a little different, but still familiar. That's not not going to deter anything. But
no, but
yeah,
it really came out
fun.
great.
Yeah.
So. Well, let's talk about Gene. Let's talk about
if we have to.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, why not, right? I want to know, what who is Gene? Where did Gene come from? What's his story? How did this guy end up making such amazing food and being so passionate about it?
I blame my mom for all that. She was a great
boy?
cook. Oh yeah, big time.
too,
Yeah,
man.
she was
That's awesome.
she was a fantastic cook, and we used to have just a ton of fun together and playing in the kitchen and stuff. And I was born and raised in West Avoca. I don't know. She was Italian. My dad's Irish, and she was just a great cook.
What was the one thing you remember as a childhood her making?
Oh, the mac and cheese for sure.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah, because I'm still trying to, like, my sister was trying to help me find the recipe. It's the first time I ever figured out what texture was of food, because she had this thing where she would put onions in, but like towards the end, so they were still raw. And I fell in love with the crunch, and that's when I learned about texture, like how everything has to be like developed,
Layered, yeah.
and you can't just have mush. Like that's why like spaghetti and red sauce is great, but where's the you need something to offset the soft on soft, But that's where I learned about. So yeah, that's the one thing in particular. I mean, she made a lot of good things. Her red sauce, her meatballs were great, but yeah, the mac and cheese was the best.
Did she? What kind of noodles?
Elbows, actually.
The bigger or the smaller?
Oh, the small ones.
Yeah.
And she'd put them in. I think she put them in like raw and bake it for like decades.
Now was
until
she
it cooked, and it just, I don't know how the hell it worked, but it did.
Did she use was she the bechamel or
Nope.
just cheese?
No, somehow I do know Campbell's tomato soup was a proud member of said
Oh,
mac
wow.
and cheese. Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
So
That's
did it have a
interesting.
bit of a red mac and cheese?
yeah. It
Okay.
had the color because she used yellow cheese in the red, so it had like a nice tint to it. But yeah, the cheese blend I don't remember.
It sounds like Mom's not with us anymore.
No,
sorry
unfortunately
to hear
she's
that.
not. Yeah. So yeah, I never. My sister kind of figured out most of the recipe. Her one thing, my mom always was real heavy with black pepper.
Okay.
And I've been like that forever. Like I remember like the one day, so I don't know why I look, but once in a while I look at reviews, and there was one. It was like 1 star because the veggie broth had too much black pepper in it. And I was like, do I make this guy feel like an asshole and just, can I curse?
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
fine. No, that's fine.
Do I tell him like, that's my mom's thing? Or I was just like, nah, I just let it go. But yeah, I'm heavy with the black pepper in broths and sauces because of her. But yeah, she was a heck of a cook. And my aunts too, they were all Italian from West Pittston. And I used to spend weekends with them if my parents ever went away and stuff, But my Aunt Eleanor, she was a real good cook, and we were making red sauce one day, and I was kind of being a little bit bold. I started dumping some like seasonings in it. I wanted to like try to surprise her, but I was kind of being like, I really shouldn't have been messing with it. But I'm adding garlic, I'm adding this and that, and dried basil and all this stuff, and she tasted it, and she probably was lying at the time, but she said it was right and it was good, and that was very exciting at like 12 years old. To be goofing around, but actually, like, what was I going to do? Ruin the damn sauce or something? I don't know why I was ever doing that, but I tell that story all the time. Like, I was really, like, just dumping stuff in there, and I guess it worked. To her, it worked. I remember eating it. I guess it was fine.
It's funny because he's like, what was I thinking? Ruining the sauce.
Yeah,
like,
I have
such
no
a
idea.
chef
Like,
speaking.
such a dumb thing to do, but I don't know I think we were fighting about something, or she was going to send me to bed early. I don't know, and I was just being spiteful or something.
I'll
and I
show
just
you
dumped
the
stuff in
sauce.
there. And then I felt terrible. And I'm like, Aunt Eleanor, I said, I dumped the garlic and the oregano. So she tastes it, and she's like, that's all right. Yeah, it's not bad. So, and then we stopped fighting. And then she's like, here's not what the rest of the stuff we're going to do. So those two memories in particular really stick.
Is there anything today that you do sort of traditionally that spikes a memory when you're a kid? Like, do you cook anything at home intentionally just to remember that?
No, actually.
Really?
Yeah, which is weird. I've never been asked that question before.
Yeah, I say that because when
No, 'cause
growing
my,
up,
my
so-
red sauce is completely different from like how my parents did it, and
Yeah?
or how my mom did it, or my aunts. Yeah, I mean, I don't make red sauce often, but when I do, it's not how they ever, they never like. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like the black pepper thing was something that stuck with me.
So
But
there's
other
a,
than
I
that,
asked because
kind of went on my own
I get
adventure, I guess.
I get it. I asked because I remember growing up, and I have a passion for cooking, and God bless you for being in the restaurant business, because I've never had the Quillones to go do that. But I love cooking, and there was a sauce that my grandmother used to make, and it was like a mix of chili sauce and piggy sauce.
Okay.
And it was called, we just called it chiggy sauce.
Oh, no, that's a cool name.
Yeah,
I like that.
and I even went as far as, because in my early days when I was messing around with graphic design stuff, I went and made a label for it, and I said, Graham, we got to make this, we got to bottle this.
You still have it?
I do. I actually do.
Oh,
yeah,
really
but
cool.
And since my grandma's passed, but I've got video of her, and she was always so happy to show us how to can tomatoes and take them fresh from the garden, bring them into the kitchen, boil them down, peel the skins off.
Oh,
break them down.
My aunts had this grinder, like it was a huge machine that now if you bought it, it'd probably be like a $10,000 machine. I don't know where they got it, or it must have been in the family. I wish I knew where it was.
Yeah.
But they'd send me over, and I'd help them with that, and we just smash it through this. It would peel the tomatoes and then grind them.
Oh, that's amazing.
For a machine, like talking like 1990 or 89. I'm 9-10 years old. Like that's,
we just got in there with our hands.
Yeah,
right.
It was
and
really interesting to
this
have
is
that
so
kinda
chunky. It's a very chunky sauce, but it's interesting because some people who have had it, they say that they don't understand the flavor to it. They've never had anything like it before, and then. Some people love it. Some people are like, no, thank you. And it's because there's cloves in it, and there's like some really interesting flavor.
aromatics.
But it's like there's so many things you can apply this sauce to.
Yeah.
And I think when I was a kid, I never really loved it. Then as an adult, I started to have an appreciation for it.
Yeah.
And now every once in a while, and I know, my mom and I, we've talked about getting together and now continuing this on, because the last time we've done it, did all the canning and stuff was with my grandmother. But after she passed, we still had leftovers, right?
Yeah.
We had bought jars for days, and every once in a while we'll go and we'll make something, and you put it on pulled pork or something, and it's just like it immediately takes me back to,
yeah, for sure.
and I wouldn't normally make that. It's not something I would go and make because I just don't love it that much.
Right,
but the
right.
feeling that it gives me,
It's the nostalgia and everything.
yeah.
There was there's still a couple bottles of the canned tomatoes floating at my dad's house, and the last one I took was from 1998, and it's still
That is
good.
so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And my sister, who's turned into an unbelievable cook, like she's really good at home. She cooks for the family, and she's fantastic. She thinks I'm crazy for using 22-year-old tomatoes, but
Yeah.
like the basil that they used to jam in there, just to like they wouldn't put it in hot. They put it at the end and then seal it.
Yep.
It's still green.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It just shows like preservation. Now, should I be using it? I don't know. It's not going to kill me.
Right.
It's just me, my wife eating it, but and of course you're simmering it with pork bones for 10 hours. But you're going to kill anything in there anyway. But yeah, there's something that fresh, and they were all always West Pittston tomatoes, which I love. I think Northeast PA tomatoes are some of the best. People say Jersey tomatoes are the best. Jersey tomatoes are awesome. They really are. But
Jersey has good corn.
yes, yes they do. But so do we.
Yeah, you're right.
Like you
There's,
get corn up like Ransom, or
what's that farm? Actually, and I should know this, and I feel bad, but it's my wife's family is part to do with it. But the one that's over in Wyoming Avenue outside, they have that little shack outside
the
of
Little Red Shack.
Yeah. What
The
farm
heck's
is
the
that?
name of that? Oh boy,
Mira's
Mira's
farm.
Yeah. How
That
many
corn
times
is
like you just
so good.
pull over like because I like that. There's a store there that I go to, and when I'm coming back, I stop. This summer, I mean, there's nothing like it. Jersey corn and Northeast PA corn are pretty darn close, but I think we will wipe the floor with them in tomatoes.
No doubt.
And I'm a Jersey fan. I lived in Jersey only for like a year and a half.
Julie's a Jersey girl.
It's true. Yeah, like I do. I love that state. A lot of people make fun of it for whatever reason. I don't know.
Well, I love this state too.
Yeah,
And I appreciate you saying
And
that.
it's just
I miss New Jersey.
Where did you live?
I grew up in East Brunswick, which is Central Jersey,
Oh,
because
okay,
Central
yeah.
Jersey exists. It's a real thing.
Yeah, where you from? North or south?
Yeah, no.
How about that whole chunk of middle?
Yeah, I was in Middlesex County. That's where I grew up. And now my parents live in South Jersey. They live at the beach.
Yep. That's not so bad.
I know. I move here, and then they relocate to the beach.
Anybody need a beer?
I'm good, thank you.
Brian, yeah, for sure.
And Brian's like, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm wandering away. How about you?
I'm still good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'll keep it cold.
All right.
Bartender. So, yeah. Where were we? Tomatoes
and West
corn.
Pittston.
Our produce is awesome, though, in this town, in this whole area. I wish we could get it more, but obviously the weather does not cooperate. Even I have friends that have, what do you call it? Like greenhouses. And they could grow in the wintertime, but if there's no sun, then it doesn't work. And even, cloudy days don't work. So...
I'm excited about the development, though, of farming, agriculture, even cattle. I just learned of a Wagyu farm that opened up in Columbia County. Did you hear about that?
No, what's it called?
We what was it, Brian? Greenwood Valley or something?
Greenwood Valley.
Yeah, we actually have a Wagyu farm here now.
American Wagyu, right, in Pennsylvania. How cool is that?
Yeah, I mean, before that, it was resourcing, I think, Illinois or something like that. There was a real big notable farm.
Yeah, Middle America, there's quite a bit of American Wagyu.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if that's really the right name to call it, but
yes, right.
It is still pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And it's grass, most of the time it's grass-fed pasture.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like that over-processed, they jam them in a little box.
No, not this place. They really emphasize, from what I understand, the natural.
There's some nice American Wagyu, there's some good-looking stuff. Yeah. Australian's great. I mean, Japanese obviously is, but
I mean, that's
not cheap.
Fingertip massaging right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, what cow wouldn't be happy?
Yeah, yeah. I sure would.
Yeah.
I like a good back rub,
So, Gene, take me back to the childhood again, and you're cooking with your family. You're cooking with your Aunt Eleanor, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're cooking with Aunt Eleanor.
Yes, indeed.
Was there a time that you could remember that you served food, like you were part of cooking it, and then the food was served, and you just sat back, and it really hit you?
Yeah, but it's a terrible story.
Oh,
I don't know if it's a terrible. It was at McDonald's. My first job.
This inspires me to go to CIA.
Yeah. And I was, 16. Well, I started there when I was 14. My sister worked there. It was my first job. And when I was 16, I was finally allowed to cook. And one night, it was a Friday night, all the big managers were usually off. So all the young managers, the cool ones, as it were. And we were playing one day, and we took all these all these different ingredients from all different sandwiches, and we were making we made chicken parm. How you do that at McDonald's is beyond me, but we were just going nuts. We were making sausage and peppers, but we were sauteing the peppers in the hot mustard sauce, and we were using the breakfast sausage, but we were peppering it up with the tiny, the little salt and pepper packs. Mm-hmm. We're dumping all this pepper on them, so to take away from the sweetness, and and then we had some friends that were just hanging out, that weren't working, and we brought it out to them, and they're like, "What the hell? How did you do this? This actually tastes like." I don't know what it tasted like. Who the hell knows? It was a long time ago, but that thing kind of sparked me.
It sounded like a food challenge.
It was like the that's where I fell in love with the fun of creativity. That we were able to take something that, was frozen. I mean, it was fine. It's still ground meat. It was, nothing, whatever. It is what it is, but I'm not, and just have fun with it and try to create something weird that wasn't on the menu and that we really weren't allowed to do, but.
This is the McDonald's secret menu. I'll be ordering now.
But we would just try to have fun, and I don't know, that question, that was the first time I remember really putting something on a plate at 16, and all my friends that were there just hanging out were like, "Wow, you really did something weird here. It's kind of funky."
But it worked.
It did.
Is that where peculiar comes into play?
Not all the way back there. The peculiar thing actually happened because I was starting a pickling in a retail company. And I really wanted to focus on pickles, and Miranda came up with the name. She's like, "What about, because I wanted something that kind of rolled, like PP. I don't know why, something pickle company. I don't know why, it was something always stuck in my head." And Miranda's like, throwing names around and words around, and she's like, "What about peculiar pickles?" And I was like, "That's a weird word. That sounds perfect," because we were trying to do something different. We weren't just making bread and butter or dill. Not that there's anything wrong with those, but we were trying to just do a little bit different. So we got a logo made, and I always just loved that word, and it never left. Now, the retail thing did take a back seat because then the pop-up thing started, but that's, further down the road or, back down the road.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah. I don't want to rush too.
We'll get to that.
I'm all over the place today.
No. I love it, and there's no rhyme or reason, right? There's no fixed pattern to this. I just want to have an open conversation and let Gene tell his story.
Yeah, thank you.
So McDonald's in this moment at McDonald's inspires you.
Yeah,
right.
Actually, quite a bit.
And so now what happens?
Well, I was there till I was 18, and then I left. Most restaurants, you really can't. You shouldn't work at before you're 18. There's, just with the laws of certain things, slicers, deep fryers, etc. So I waited. I just stayed there, and all my friends worked there, so it was nice. But then when I got done there, I graduated from Seton Catholic in Pittston, and I decided to go to culinary school. I wanted to keep cooking, so I got a job at Bridge Street Cafe, which was in Old Forge, because the person that owned it was actually my math teacher in grade school. So I always kept in touch with her, and so I got a job cooking there when I was 18, and then went to LCC for 2 years for culinary.
Oh, okay.
And that's when I really fell in love with cooking, because I liked the lifestyle of the restaurant, and then I loved culinary school because I was just hanging out with a bunch of like-minded knuckleheads, and that we would just have fun and cook together and try to create. And that was actually, and that too, that was in 1998 when I graduated. So like 98, 99 was like the boom of celebrity chefs and Food Network. Emerald was like the biggest thing in the world. So I know we were just really into it because of that. None of us wanted to be celebrities, but we just thought like, hey, this thing that we're doing is becoming really popular. Yeah. So we think that there's actually a career in it. Because I remember my mom at the time, who loved, supported me for like anything I wanted to do. She's like, I don't know about a cook job. Like that, they don't make much money. They work long hours, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look at Emerald. He's doing fine. She's like, you going to be him? I said, no, I don't want to be him. I said, but the point is that there's a career in this business. And she's like, I think you should go do something in computers. Boy, was she right. Because, that would be a whole different animal. But I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I stuck to my guns. So I did. That was my next adventure. I worked at Bridge Street Cafe, which was like a bar. We used to do wings and chicken marsala, penny vodka, burgers. And then did the LCC for 2 years, and then kept going.
That's awesome. What in particular did you go to LCC for?
It was culinary and restaurant management.
Okay.
Got an associate's there. I was there for 2 years, and then I was working at another restaurant that was a family friend had owned. It was a Mexican restaurant, actually, in Music. And I was there for quite a while. I was there for a couple of years, and a couple of my chefs from LCC I kept in touch with kind of kept pushing me to go back to school and get a bachelor's degree. So I did. And I went up to New York. I went to the Culinary Institute of America, yeah. And I did that. That was a 3.5-year program to get your bachelor's.
That kind of makes you a big shot in the culinary world, from what I understand.
I guess that when you come back to Pittston, it's not you're not all that excited.
Well,
but
still CIA.
At the time it was, because it was, when I was there, you had to have X amount of years. You had to have a year experience. You'd have 3 letters of recommendation. Like you had to know what you were doing before you got there. Now I don't think that's the case anymore.
Did you get to work with anybody notable while you were there?
Just great teachers. I graduated with some kids that are, they've definitely done very well for themselves. They've been on the Food Network quite a bit.
Yeah.
Whether they be hosting or, a bunch of chefs from the Top Chef series.
That's cool.
I went to school with, which was kind of neat. But we got to meet a few people. I got to meet Anthony Bourdain very quickly. I got to hear Julia Child speak. That was the best thing that ever happened up there.
Wow.
And it was a fun program. So it took 3.5 years because you don't get summers off. So you get done a little early, which is kind of cool.
Now, was there a particular type of food that you were getting involved with? Like,
No,
CIA, do they emphasize like French or?
It's French heavy, but it's definitely French heavy, but there's a little bit of everything. You either go for culinary or baking and pastry, and then the bachelor's is the bachelor's. That's just kind of like hotel restaurant management with other weird things sprinkled in, like history of Western civilization 1 and 2.
Oh,
That
Okay.
was
It
an
is kind of random.
unbelievably pointless class to have, learning about stuff that
Yeah, that's strange.
I had no
And I
interest
guess
in and had nothing to do with. But it's an accredited school. I mean, they have to have
Sure.
specific classes because it is,
Yeah.
there was some of that. But all in all, it was.
Now, were you traveling back and forth, or did you live out there?
No, I lived there. I lived in a dorm actually for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
We had a train station, which was great. Hop
Okay.
on the train right in Manhattan, like super fast. But yeah, it was neat living up there. I mean, we were by Hyde Park, we were by Rhinebeck, we were by Woodstock, New Paltz. That was like the first place you ever saw like a brew pub.
Yeah.
Way before Pennsylvania, or let's say Northeast Pennsylvania.
Now, at any point during your time in school, did you have any doubts, or right from the time you got there through, you were like, man, this is it?
It was pretty much.
That's pretty
I
cool.
never changed my mind. I mean, I've thought about like I've wandered away from the business a little bit. Like I've gotten to food sales for a couple of years when I was a little burnt out, but I always go back. Just try something. I'm still in the restaurant world. I'm selling food to restaurants, but
Yeah.
it was. But no, I wouldn't change it for anything.
How about the time when you're in school? Is there something that sort of pops out at you as like a most memorable moment? Something you learned that one time where you were at class or anything of the sort, and you were like, oh my God, all the years, this one moment makes it worth it.
I think during their bachelor's program, we spent a month out in Northern California, and to kind of like, I mean, it's kind of a broad answer, but that whole month was really the highlight of the entire
experience.
thing, because all we did was tour Sonoma, Napa Valley, San Francisco, Santa Rosa, sausage factories to wineries to cigar shops we went down this alley. We thought we were all going to get like mugged or something. We went down this alley in the middle of the Mission District in San Francisco and found this tiny little room that's half the size of the room we're in now. And it was the factory, I'm doing the air quotes thing, that makes fortune cookies. And it was one lady on one machine with a thing of batter. It just went bloop. It just dropped it on this little like tiny little pan, and it went bloop. And then it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But they just shuffled 20 of us down the alley. Like, you can't go in, but you could look from the door.
That's pretty crazy.
It was little things like that made the trip amazing.
And you spent a whole month out there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we lived in.
Are you a wine guy?
Yeah, I'm an everything guy.
All right.
For the most part.
Did you learn a lot about wine?
Yeah. Oh yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, because they're pretty uppity there.
I mean, it was really neat, and I was really into getting into craft beer at the time. So we didn't go to a lot of craft breweries, but we did go to some. But everywhere you went, you could find it out there. I mean, that was like the first time I ever had. It wasn't the first time I had Sierra Nevada. Oh, like Anchor Steam Porter.
That was my
Anchor
first
Steam,
craft quote on.
And what's the one that I still that one IPA? Pliny the Elder.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, which you still can't get in Northeast PA. The closest you can get is Philly. I don't know why nobody just has a contract from that brewery, Russian River Valley Brewery. But like we went there, and I didn't know then like how special that place is.
Yeah.
Or would become, I guess you could even say. But yeah, it was really neat.
That's and was it the whole class?
Yeah, there was like 55 of us, I think that went.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we took over like a whole plane, and we had, all the hotels, and yeah, I think we stayed in 4 or 5 different hotels, and
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is California ever somewhere you'd go back and spend extended time in?
Yeah. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Some
especially
people love it, some people hate it.
Northern California is more my style. My wife and I we actually went out to L.A. We were on a show out there once, and L.A. is cool to visit. I'm not sure that I would live there. I'm not quite cool enough.
I'm not into it.
I'm not very cool at all. I wear cargo shorts and rock and roll T-shirts or Shroot Farm T-shirts.
That's L.A.
Yeah,
that's L.A.
I guess.
I mean,
I don't know. I liked it. I mean, the restaurants were awesome.
The restaurants are amazing.
The people were super nice.
Do you have a notable restaurant from L.A.?
Osteria Mazza.
Okay.
Nancy Silverton's restaurant. It was actually partnered with Batali at the time, but he's out now because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah. So we hear.
Yeah. But I mean, it was her brainchild anyway. It was just I think his hospitality group with Joe Bastianic had something to do with it.
What was the dish?
The gnocchi, the pizza. Honestly, actually, it was probably the pizza. They had the wood fire. That's really what they're known for.
Okay.
You know, and they do like a sourdough. So it's like a slow, like it's a fermented pizza dough. So it's real stinky, super, like not stinky in a bad way, like that nice, super chewy, super special. Yeah.
If you ever get back out to LA, try to remember this. There's a restaurant called Hanoki and the Bird.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
Sits in the hills. It's sort of like right before you go into Beverly Hills, but it's in the hills section there.
Oh, okay.
And Hanoki and the Bird, and a friend of mine and I were out there for a conference, and we found this, sort of off the cuff, and it said all the locals love to go there.
Okay, that's the place, yeah.
And I always look for the place where if you work in a restaurant and then there's a place where you want to go,
right,
that's where I want to be.
That's the place to go,
because I know that they know where the good stuff is.
Yeah, for sure.
So we tracked this place down at Hanoki and the Bird, and sure enough, the day we were there, we walk in, the weather is gorgeous outside, and the whole thing is, it looks like you're walking into a big indoor restaurant, but then as you walk in, the first section, which is where the bar is, that's all enclosed, and the outside, it's enclosed as well, and they sit us out there, but then as we're sitting there, the entire roof opens up and folds into the wall, and we're now sitting outside in like a convertible restaurant, and there's torches, fire, everything.
That's amazing.
And the food was just unbelievable. And not just,
what was the style? Do you remember?
So it was like a Korean American.
Ooh, my favorite.
It was incredible. They brought
very
out
partial to Korean food.
Yeah, I'll have to
completely obsessed with it. Actually.
Remind me later. I'll have to show you because I'm sure I still have photos.
Yeah.
But they brought these Korean style ribs out. And
the kalbi.
And underneath the ribs, they stuck an actual log that was still on fire.
Oh, that's amazing.
So when it came out, it was like
sizzling,
smoking, and they took the cap off right there.
Oh,
your experience was getting blasted in the face with the oak, and or it was probably cherry wood or something. But man,
killer.
I came back home and I was like, if I don't like LA, but I might move there just for Hanoki and the Bird. Yeah,
there was a lot of fun eating out there. The farmers market was actually probably my favorite spot because it's an open air, and you could just go in. It's in walls, so like they had a liquor license, so we could get some craft beer, walking around and just like take a little piece of cheese. Just you talk to like the mongers. Oh, they slice a little piece of tuna for you. Oh, hold on, they just take their fingers and just dip it in a little soy. Here, try this tuna.
Yeah.
Like it's just, oh man, it's so.
Now,
it's
do you think it's still going to be the same today?
What's that?
That.
I don't know.
You think about going what the time of where we're at today.
I don't know.
Are people still going to be able to dip their hand in something and hand it to you?
I mean, people don't even want to blow out birthday candles anymore.
I know. It's so strange.
Things have changed quite a bit, but yeah, I think there'll still be something like that. The old Italian ladies sitting there rolling everything by hand, and
you're just gonna deal with it.
You just kind of got to deal with it, I guess.
Well, either you do or you don't.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
But if I think if it sounds like guys like us are gonna deal with it.
Yeah,
I will
for sure. Yeah, I'm anxiously awaiting my shots so I could go back and get my finger touched food by nice old Italian and Asian ladies, and I was just I miss traveling. Everything's been so weird. I mean, the restaurant is weird. Everything's changed so much, but.
Well, and taking it back, did I hear you say that you were on a show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Out in LA, you were in a show.
I was fortunate to be on a couple, actually. I was on Guy's Grocery Games in Santa Rosa.
Guy Fieri?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he has the cooking competition on Food Network. And then Miranda and I were actually on a show called Restaurant Startup on NBC, and that was basically Shark Tank for restaurants.
Oh wow!
So you'd go down to.
I don't remember that.
It was actually a closed restaurant on. Was it Rodeo? No, it might have been Rodeo. I forget what road. It doesn't actually matter, but it was like downtown LA, and it was a closed restaurant, and. Us, and another restaurant concept. They were actually a brother and sister out of New Jersey. You just cook food, and then they eat it on camera, and then you pitch your business. And if they pick you to potentially invest in, you have to do a pop-up dinner there.
Oh, I did see
and
this.
I mean, we were doing that was our thing with pop-ups. So I'm like, this is this is right in my wheelhouse. And so Miranda and I went out there, and it was rough.
They give you like a budget to set up and stage the place, right?
Yeah, I think it was like $15,000 or something. That was for food and the stage, and you could decorate and everything.
Menu style, the whole thing.
Yeah, you had to get your menus printed, and so we went out. The first day we were there, we did all of our talking heads and everything, kind of for majority of the show, and then we had a day off. That's when we got to go to the farmers market and kind of see LA a little bit, and then we went to pitch. We were there early in the morning. We cooked. And then we pitched for, 2.5 to 3 hours, which turned into about 4.5 minutes on television.
That's crazy.
And
is that intense?
It was. It was rough.
Were you scared?
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Yeah, I was. I have anxiety like that. It's gross. What gives me panic attacks? This was a rough one to the point where I'm like, I need beer. Now.
Right.
Like I got to, because like our producer that worked with Miranda and I she was awesome, but she's like, you guys are like freaking out, which is weird because I was already on the Food Network, so like I was familiar with TV, but I don't know, something like Joe Bastianic and it was Tim Love and Joe Bastianic. They were great guys, but they're tough, and they were, it was just it was brutal because they grill you they're going to potentially give you their own money. So they grill you like real hard, and we were just trying to prepare for that. And then we cooked.
What was your pitch then? What were you?
We were actually at the time we were trying to. It was when downtown Pittston was really pushing and going through the revitalization process.
Oh yeah.
So we were trying to get a spot down there. We thought we kind of thought downtown Pittston was going to be like the next Jim Thorpe. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to do like a honest to goodness like gastropub down there. So that was our original pitch. So we had done our own stuff from like pop-ups. We did our chicken and waffles. I pitched them, and our burger, which was like, we kind of like played with it a bit. Like it was like sous vide and reverse seared and all this like, blah, 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 but we made our own ketchup. We made our own mustard. We made our own buns. The only thing we didn't make on the thing was our cheese, but so like we kind of went simple, like let's just show them like our comfort and then see. And by the end of the pitch, they send us away, and we're talking to the brother and sister, and they're all excited, and like they're, and we're just like, I look at Miranda, I go, I just want to go home.
Yeah. I'm
like, I don't want to get picked. I want to go home because I'm so tired. Yeah. Because it was rough. It was brutal. Yeah. And they didn't pick us, and like you could see our face on TV. I showed it to my sister-in-law the other night because it's on Peacock now. And which is kind of weird that my wife and I are streaming.
Well, that's where The Office is.
Yeah.
I know why you're on Peacock.
Michael Scott and myself, and, we watched it, and you could see our faces like we were so excited to get kicked off the show. It looked so weird, but it was just we were tired. We had a great experience. We loved it, but we were tired. We wanted to come home. We missed our dogs, and that was that.
And I have to say that I love that you talk about your dogs like they are your babies.
They are.
Because that's how I am.
Yep.
I love it.
What kind of dogs do you have?
We have a puggle named Dexter and a long-haired Chihuahua named Chipley.
Long-haired Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Dexter from the show?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
Are you going to watch it when they come out with the final season?
I don't know.
Okay.
Probably. Because they ended it so poorly.
Yeah. Of course.
That I think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So, that was awful. Ugh.
So, what was the other show that you were on?
Guys Grocery Games.
Okay.
So, it's almost like Supermarket Sweep in a sense. There's 3 cooking challenges, and it's a supermarket that they built on a soundstage, like a block from his house in Santa Rosa.
Oh, wow.
He has a lot of pull with his production company now. It's pretty neat, actually. But so they built a real working, everything worked, everything. And we actually shot the Christmas episode for season 3. Oh, and it was me and 3 other chefs. And there's 3 competitions. And that was a lot of fun. That was a long day. They shot the whole thing in one day. So it was like 18 hours or so to do the whole, but and then when you're done, like you have to do your talking heads. And that was like 2.5 hours. I was exhausted by the end because I, went to the end and I was like, dear God, can we do this tomorrow? And they're like, yeah, no, that's not how it works. I'm like, I know, I just thought I'd ask. I mean, it doesn't hurt, right? I'm like, I said, I remember seeing some wine or beer in that one refrigerator. And they're like, yeah, no. That's just for show.
Yeah,
because
no.
if you take one out, then we can't replace it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we're allowed to use it to cook with. They're like, no, just let's just finish. I'm like, all right, fine. So, but yeah, that was honestly, that was a blast. I wanted to do it again. I got called out actually to be a part of the Tournament of Champions like 3 years later, and we got crushed with snow, and I was flying out of Avoca, and all my flights got canceled. I couldn't make call time in Cali. Even if I drove, they said, okay, we could set you up in Philly, but even if I drove to Philly, I would have never made it. Because even if I got there in the exact time, now the roads were shot, but if I made it there in 2.5 hours to say Philly, I would have had 20 minutes to get on the plane. And you know how that just doesn't work, especially,
Maybe in Avoca, not Philly.
Avoca, you could probably, I mean, you could walk on the tarmac with an AR-15 over your shoulder. They'll be like, yeah, you're good. No, I'm just kidding. That's not true. But yeah, you know what I mean. It's Avoca's a different animal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I tried, and then I kept reaching out to the producers and saying, don't forget me, and that was,
But you did well on the first one, right? You said you went to the end.
I won, yeah.
Yeah, and
You won?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Now, did I
Way
read?
to throw that in there. You're
was-
like, yeah, I participated.
Yeah, well, I
Whatever.
mean,
It's awesome.
There was. Is there a cash prize or something?
Yeah, so at the end, they give you a shopping list, and there's 10 items on it, and they're all over the place, and each item is worth $2,000.
Okay.
So they hand it to you, and they're like, you got like 30 seconds to read it. I was like, oh, wow, thank you. Like, they were really nice about it. So I looked, and I was like, okay. I went down most of the aisles and through most of the area. So, like, you kind of sort of know, like, sort of, but there was some brand specific. But, like, the first thing was Altoids. And I remember, there was also checkout aisles. And you had to check your stuff out, when you were running. So,
To be accurate
God.
to the list that they
yeah,
gave
so, well, like, when you were doing the cooking competitions, like, the first one was, whatever it was, you had to use these 3 items. You had to, and then whatever else you wanted. And then other ones are by weight. Like, I had one that I could only use 5 pounds worth of food, which was really weird because I wanted to do, it was like the last one, I wanted to do a pumpkin thing. And my can of pumpkins was 3 pounds. So it really screwed me up. But you go to the checkout and they weigh everything. So anyway, I remember seeing Altoids. Even in the fake checkout, they had the gum, they had magazines. It was all Food Network magazines, but still, it was neat. So first thing I did, I ran to the checkout, grabbed the Altoids. Anyway, long story short, I got all 10 of them.
Wow.
That is so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's how we got our catering van.
So that's really
That's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now is that and is that where you started?
As far as
the catering van? Oh no, okay.
the catering was already, the pop-ups and everything were already going on. They started in 2012, and then the catering just kind of happened. It really wasn't like something that I was planning on doing, and I don't know. It just like kind of took off. We did a party for somebody, then we did a party for somebody, and then we started doing these weddings, and we're like, well, we're pretty all right at this. We got used to cooking with no kitchens. We got used to cooking with camping equipment, portable equipment, fires, blow torches, whatever we could use. And it kind of worked out for us because that was our gimmick, was barn weddings in the middle of nowhere. So
Which is what mine was.
yeah, for sure.
Well, let me rewind back. So because I know we did jump all over there, but if we finished CIA, now what's the next step? Where do you go work?
I don't remember. Where did I go work after that? Oh, Patzls. It was in Clark Summits where Constantino's is now.
Okay.
It was a big restaurant. Like, it was cool. It was
And what role did you get there?
line cook, honestly. Yeah,
Okay.
right out of school, usually I was a line cook.
And then how long are you there?
I was there for about a year, I guess, year and a half. And then I went to a different restaurant. I can't remember I honestly can't remember all the names.
Okay.
But yeah, Patzls was right out of culinary school. That was really fun because that was pretty high end. And we were doing some fun stuff there. We got playing around with different things. And we used to get a lot of really cool, meats in and things like that. And then, but it was very like kind of straightforward. It was just it was cool high end. They had a specific clientele, Clark Summit and everything. It was a really nice place. The owner, Pat, she was very bright and funny and artistic. So the whole place was like covered in frogs, and it was all bright colors. It was very cool. It was it was really neat. Kind of ahead of its time, like in a sense. But then they retired, and they went off into the sunset, and they're having a great retirement, and they're still very much involved in different things. Cool. But yeah, that was a really fun job. And then I bounced honestly for a while. I kind of did the whole like year here, year there thing, which I know isn't great, but that's what I did because I wanted to learn as much as I could. My wife and I went out to Jersey. We lived in Parsippany for like almost 2 years. I was a sous chef at a country club in Short Hills, and then my mom got sick, and we're like, all right, it's time to go home. The goal was Manhattan. The goal was always, for me, it was always Manhattan. Always wanted to live there, wanted to be a chef there. And but mom got sick, and we're like, well, we got to go home. So we came home, and I'm glad we did because we did all, we ended up trying to cut a little groove of something funky in the town. So
that's when you started with your food truck?
No, we came back, and then where did I end up when I came back? Oh, I got into food sales for a while. That was awful, but it was. I mean, it's not awful. It's just not for me.
Sure.
But I like talking to people, so I guess it was all right. It was a different job. It was like a 9 to 5. So we were trying to have kids at the time and blah blah blah. So we thought maybe try something normal for a little while, and that lasted like 4 years, and then I was done. And then I went to a place called Arance, which isn't open anymore, but that's where I really got funky because we had a really fun, weird, exciting menu there. A lot of wild game, a lot of interesting preparations and different things. And
why didn't that place survive?
Oh, I think it was just. I think at the end, Dave just wanted to do something else. Honestly, it's not so much of like not surviving. I think it was more options.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah, I mean he's awesome. I'm excited for his next adventure. I'm not going to tell you about it, but because he'll be able to tell somebody soon enough, but.
I've seen him hanging with Bart up at Kidder Street.
Oh, they're great friends. Yeah. And Bart's a good guy. And Bart was always very supportive of them. And they, I don't know, they've always just been real close. And his kids and everything, they just get along great. And I know he's helped them a bit up there, or just worked for him here and there. And then he, like me, he got out of it for a minute. Dave, he went and did masonry for a little while, and now he's ready to get back in. He's got something very cool coming up that I'm excited about, but. So yeah, basically, so Arance, Dave-O was the kind of chef, like he kind of let me do my thing as long as it ran with him, and we were very much into the same thing, just trying to have fun, trying to do something different, trying to be different without like going like losing our minds.
Was there anything that you created there that maybe somebody would remember?
I mean, he gave me like carte blanche of brunch. And that was because I was the only one that wanted to get up early. I mean, Dave was a late night guy, and he always worked the line at night. I did lunch mostly. So as I was trying to build up the lunch business, I also wanted to do brunch on Sundays. So he basically was like, here's a starting point. Here's what kind of stuff I kind of want to see. And then he let me just roll and do my thing. And brunch is where I honestly started picking up a following. People started coming in every Sunday, and it was like just me. I would cook, and then I had my helper that washed dishes and helped me cook, and then my pal Brad worked the front by himself because nobody else was available. So we're like, let's just do it with the three of us and see what the hell happens.
What'd you have on your menu?
A lot. It was.
Well, I heard you say chicken and waffles something.
That's where I started working on my chicken and waffles situation. Yeah, it was there.
Okay.
I would because he used to have these Ritz cracker chicken fingers on the menu, and they were with this buffalo barbecue aioli. It was a great appetizer. It was a huge seller. And one day I was just using them. I bought a waffle maker. I brought it in, and I just put those on. And then I started messing around with seasoning maple syrups, and then, turned into one thing, and then it turned into kind of my thing. And that dish kind of took off. And then it was around, it was like 2012. I was there for a while. It was 2012 then. I said I wanted to start doing pop-up dinners. But I knew that wouldn't be fair to be like taking his customers and like cooking for that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to like be like that guy. So that's when I walked away and I went corporate for a little while. I was a corporate chef for a while, which was like an 8 to 5, 8 to 4 kind of job, which allowed me to have some fun on Sunday nights. We would pop up literally. And
how did you find, like, how did that start? Like, where do you even begin?
Well,
how do you find a spot?
It was an old building. It was just an empty building at a park in Pittston by my house. No kitchen or anything. Well, I mean, there was kind of a kitchen, I guess. There was a home stove in there, but yeah, we did it. Like our first one was August of 2012. We had no, I may say it now, it's been a while. We had no licenses, nothing. It's completely illegal. And I put out like I put out like a 6-course menu, and I said, just make reservations on Facebook. It was back when if you put a post up on Facebook, people would actually see it.
Oh, yeah.
And I made a business page, and I took that pickle logo I was just telling you about, and I took out pickling and then put the word culinary, and there was our logo. And we made a page, and we had like 100 people follow it, which was awesome at the time. And
I actually remember this.
So, and I said, well, let's get 60 people in, and we got 60 people. And I had my buddy John Smith play acoustic, and it was on like a Sunday night in August. It was well over 90 degrees. There was no air conditioning, and the stove caught on fire. And I smoked out the entire place, and had to open up all the windows and run fans, and his amp blew like a circuit, and we called my dad, and he came down, fixed the circuit.
So it was a huge success.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Sounds like a great time.
It was great. It was a blast.
Yeah.
And then I did one a month later, and then I did one another month later, and then people started calling for catering, and that's when the whole thing started to pick up. And then one day we got a couple phone calls from government officials, and they're like, we know what you're doing. You got to get all licensed up. We're like, all right, well, we got our LLC and everything, so we'll, just had to get. So then we had to go out and find an actual kitchen because I was cooking out of whoever would let me,
So you can come to cook at my house anytime.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I was cooking at my house. I destroyed stoves, refrigerators.
Then, are you cushy at this point with your corporate job? Is this going to be like a scary leap?
No, well, the corporate job was all right. I was a sous chef for a while at Marywood University, and then I wasn't there very long. And then I was the head chef at Wilkes University, and I was there for like a year and a half, and that's why I built up the business there. I got on Guys Grocery Games when I was there. I bought the food, I bought my catering van there, and then the van it was just a simple van, but that really was a big help because we got it wrapped and everything, and that kind of made it official. Like, all right, we're like a company now. We just bought this thing, and
was this the van that had the huge green circle on the
it was a Ford Transit Connect. Yeah,
I remember
with the huge circle. Yep. And we didn't even have a business line, so I had my freaking cell phone number on the side of my van. That was great. And but it's what we had to do. That's how we started. We were nomads. Whoever would let us cook in their kitchen, we'd be like, all right, we got to get it inspected real quick. Churches, I mean, you name it. And then we found a home at a fire department actually let us have their kitchen. We, rented it, and they said we could use their hall and everything. So that's kind of where we built up the wedding business, and that turned it. And the can't even talk. The wedding business just blew up way more than I ever wanted it or expected it to. Not wanted it. That's not the right word, but that was never the goal.
People are always looking for that different.
Yeah, and that's where we came in. We do comfort food.
Yeah,
we weren't going up with like crazy molecular gastronomy. We were plowing through with mac and cheese and chicken and waffles and everything homemade and cool hors d'oeuvres, and that was it. We were just trying to have some fun, but also not go crazy. We didn't want to go charging people $100 a person.
Yeah,
that was never our thing. We wanted to just do something really fun and comforting, and hopefully make their wedding enjoyable. And our food kind of matches Barnes too.
Yeah,
we've done not like real barbecue, but like braised brisket and pork dishes and carving stations and mac and cheese bars, and I don't know, it just kind of fit the thing.
So when does the food truck come into play?
Oh, I forget the date, but it was probably like 2015 or so.
Okay.
16. Yeah, it was, food trucks were booming.
So you're doing the pop-ups for a little bit. Mm-hmm. You get the catering business going.
Catering really, really jumped, and that allowed us to be able to purchase a pretty sweet food truck.
That was a sweet food truck.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember.
I
remember being
slammer.
excited. I think it was like Wednesday nights. You would be at the Sabatini's parking lot.
Tuesdays,
Was it
every
Tuesday? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and I remember that was the first time that I ever had and I forget the name of them. What are the buns?
Oh, the bao buns.
The bao buns.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
And you had like
Sab's.
the pork and oh my god, just
Lots of It was all tacos at the beginning, but then we started drifting from that and doing other things. And
yeah. Well, then you started doing your noodles.
yeah,
Because I remember it was super cold out the one time, and I was standing in line. Were you with me, Brian?
I did not go that night.
We left the office, and I heard that you guys were outside of Sabatini's, so we drove. Used to have a little office down at 40 Fort.
Oh, okay.
And I scooted up the Ave because I was catching you right at the tail end, and I was like standing in the freezing cold, and then, then I saw you had like noodle, and I was like, "Oh, come on!" Nobody has a good noodle bar around here. I cannot believe.
That's why we did it, because that's what we wanted. Everything we always tried to do was to be different from everybody else, and I don't mean to say that like to sound like a jerk.
No, it's just your interest.
We just want to be different and give people something that you might have to go to the city for.
Yeah.
It might not be as good, but we're going to do our damnedest and learn and try and work and research and really put our hearts into it. And that's when we were, once the food truck thing kind of started to die out a little bit, and even in the world of excitement and television, even it just kind of was starting to fizzle out a little, like trends. Unfortunately, it sort of fizzled. Around here, it's tough too, because you're only going to get a couple months out of the year where it's really. Yeah. I mean, you could go out in the winter time, but
did it really
it's
fizzle?
tough.
I didn't realize that there was a downtrend in that.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, if you go to LA, it's a different world out there. I mean, they're very open to food trucks, but.
I was gonna say my parents live in Raleigh, and I mean,
there's not a lot of them around here anymore.
Yeah, I mean, here it just. I don't know. I guess we don't have enough condensed market, or
well, it is quite spread.
We also have a problem where you don't have at least 80% of the year to keep food trucks out,
True.
right? Because what are we going to do? Put a food truck out in the middle of the winter?
We have.
Yeah, I know.
It's tough.
I just said I'm standing there in line freezing.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, I remember, there were times the way our truck was set up was interesting, because we had two windows, and the window that you would order from, I tried to have as eye level as possible. Now, without getting too deep into it, when you open that door, there would be somebody standing there, and behind that person standing there was a little lift up, and then that's where I cooked. And above where I cooked was the hood. So when you open that window, the hood would suck the cold air in, and it would come in and go underneath my flat top, and it would flutter my pilot lights and my fire. So I couldn't keep my flat top hot if it was too cold out. And if it was windy, we were shot. I'll never forget the one morning, Soul Artisan Ale used to do their can releases at SBC. They're called the Separatists now. They're down in Philly. They're doing really cool stuff. We did a breakfast there one morning. It was like 5 a.m. we got there, and people used to sleep out overnight. Were you one of them? I see you nodding your head.
No, it wasn't that crazy.
You're familiar though, right?
But not me, no.
And we got there at like 4:30 or so, set up, and it was like 5:30, and I was like pushing 6. I'm like, shit, like even with the window closed, I can't get this flat top hot because it was so damn cold.
Wow.
And I had like stuff set up for like breakfast sandwiches and that. I'm like, well, if we can't get it in the deep fryer right now, we can't serve it. Like I just can't, So there's a lot of, trouble.
You know what I'd
in
like
the
to see somebody do here instead of food trucks because of that situation? I wish that we could open up food halls.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
I mean,
for
you
sure.
see that not your food court, right? A food hall.
Yeah.
I mean, I
like a Reading Terminal Market or
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand why we don't. I mean, we have an entire Wyoming Valley Mall that's out, right? Go into a Bonton. I wish we can get somebody with the money or a group of people with the money to go there.
It would take quite. Is it all right if I take these off for like 2 seconds?
No, that's up to you.
I'm roasting.
Please.
I'm a hot box.
Yeah.
I know. They tried that very. They really tried that with the Steamtown. The marketplace of the Steamtown Mall. And I think, honestly, I think they did everything right. Just the people just aren't going or weren't going or what. But I know like a bunch of places that were there that were killer. They were awesome. And I don't think not one of them is left. You know, I mean, and I'm not. This is before. I mean, this is honestly before COVID. So yeah, I mean, I love the idea. I love everything they were trying to do. We thought about doing something there, even with the restaurant opening. You know, they came to us and said, I still have this like thing in my head. I want to like open like a taqueria. I always have. I love making tacos. I like putting, you know, you can put anything in there. It does not matter. And, you know, it just, I don't know. It never worked out for us at the time, but I just see so many things come and go. But yes, to echo you, I would love a food hall.
Man.
You know, even Easton does it right. Easton Public Market. It's
Haven't
small,
been
but it is beautiful.
Yeah, I would just love somewhere where you can go and have something of
Just
every
wander.
cultural food, right? And then
Have a beer or a
Yeah,
glass of wine,
I mean-
or a nice bourbon or whatever. It doesn't matter.
I'm really jealous
a
because
craft soda.
again,
you know.
I'll tell you, when I go to visit my parents in Raleigh, there's this there's two different notable food halls there. One of them you go to, you've got a place that literally specializes in chicken and waffles.
Oh dear Lord.
You got this other place that specializes in shrimp and grits.
Oh,
Right, and I
love
mean,
grits.
and they're just, you know, they're the right way.
yeah.
You know,
like
then
perfect.
you've got a place that specializes in seafood boils. So you walk up and you get a big old tin bowl, and I mean,
But you could go to 4 different spots with 4 of your friends and just put everything out on the table.
and they do.
and then you get your paper plate or whatever, and then you just enjoy.
They do.
Yeah.
And I'm so jealous
Yeah.
because, you know, we just don't have that here.
Yeah.
And it's like I hear about places that open up here that are doing cool brunches. You know, Prime opens up in Dallas. That
Yeah.
place is
Yeah,
doing
for sure.
pretty good stuff. They every Sunday they have chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits. And so
Oh,
I'm
nice.
like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But we're so limited, you know.
Yeah,
and I
for
just
sure.
there's so many people here that love food and love that kind of food, that
Yeah.
different stuff.
Yeah.
But we just don't have. I just don't know how it hasn't.
Like
blown up
I mean,
here.
like you were saying about like even with the food trucks, like the central. I mean, we're like Los Angeles in that weird way that we're so spread out, but they have like little pockets of lots of people. We don't really have that. Where I don't know. It's hard to just get a group of people into. I mean, especially now. Forget but let's pretend for a second there's nothing going on.
Sure.
I've seen so many places that are just doing something wild and different, but still. It could be like on the upward trend. It could be, very well known. You've seen it on the Food Network or whatever, and they come and they go. Now, sometimes maybe they don't do something right, but, it just stinks when their food is just killer, But there's a lot of little hidden gems of some cool street food and stuff around. And I mean, the Mexican food in Scranton right now is just off the charts. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
It's so good.
Where do you go?
Chicanos, my man over there is nodding his head. Yeah.
I did in a past life, I worked in dialysis, and one of our patients, it was like his family.
You guys.
Oh,
Just
is
have,
that right?
You just have beards.
So-
That's
And
why you love it.
Garibaldi, did you ever have Garibaldi's? Garibaldi, I don't want to say they're similar because they probably don't want to hear that, but they do they call it the street style tacos. I don't understand that word because
Walking tacos?
Every taco is a street style taco. They're old school. Like you get like a really nice meat. Lengua. Oh my God. Chicanos did the best one for sure. Beef tongue. Slow. They would just boil it. I asked the guy, I said, you do it in a pressure cooker? He's like, no, I just boil it for hours. I said, real slow? He's like, no, real hard. I'm like, that's the exact opposite what I would do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because yours is better than mine. Tons of stuff in the water, and that was like spices in the water, no fancy broth, and then you would just dice it up, flat top, raw onion, cilantro, lime on the side. Chorizo's the same way, El Pastor, raw onion, cilantro, lime on the side. They don't I like doing the fun, like I call them like gringo tacos. Like I like having fun with them, doing different picos, or, we did one at the shop, we did like a Nashville hot. But we used like duck tenderloins instead of chicken tenders, So it's like just trying to have some fun with taco, but like they are old school, and they're just they're tortas.
amazing.
Yeah, it's killer. But yeah, there's so many neat restaurants opening up. Some I haven't been to yet. Like I've been eyeing up that Bank and Vine in Wilkes-Barre. that chef is on another level, man. His food looks unbelievable.
Yeah, we get to take some photos with him.
Did you?
With Amy
Did you?
Bizak. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, we did video of Amy taking the food photos.
I haven't got a
pretty
chance to
legit.
meet him yet. We talked on like Instagram. He seems super, super cool.
Yeah.
Came up from Philadelphia, I believe. His plates, he's like next level stuff, and then, there's so many great little places I see popping up, and then some that have been around, like Beaumont Inn, Jeff Hunsinger.
I love Chef Jeff.
First of all, Jeff's like the sweetest human being on the planet.
And no doubt.
Gives the best hugs ever. And his food is just amazing. I was looking at his page the other day, his duck confit. I'm like, everything he does just, it looks so comforting, but looks so high end.
Yeah.
And he uses really beautiful product, like his wild game dinners.
Look at his garden, too.
The guy grows his own vegetables.
Everything. Radishes.
And he's got stuff growing in the wintertime. Now, like I think mostly micros, because he uses the light system and everything, but his passion is unbelievable. And he's a great dude, a great dad. And
I know Jeff for a long time, and I'll tell you where I really got to see his passion was, and I'm not sure if you were a part of this or not, because I feel like I saw you there, but is it the
Chefs for Sustainability
for the quail farm?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was
Is
there.
it the event at the Radisson?
Yeah, I was there.
Right. So, well, that was a big deal. I was on the.
That was a lot. That was a blast. That was so much fun.
Are you on the message feed, the big group of all the chefs?
I honestly have. I deleted Facebook a while back for political reasons.
I got you.
I saw too many friends and family fighting over that orange dude, and I just like, you know what? I don't want.
All right.
Yeah, I like whether you. It doesn't matter.
Makes sense.
I felt bad. I see people fighting over politics and everything, and it was so negative. Not necessarily not towards us.
No, it's just
I'm not
in
saying
general.
they were bashing the rest.
No, the topic.
It was just like I see best friends fighting over politics. I'm like, so I just decided to wander away. But unfortunately, I haven't been on that feed in some time. But
I just thought that was incredibly amazing, and going to that particular event and watching every one of the most of the area's most notable chefs being in one place and showcasing or exposing their dishes.
Right.
I thought I had a whole new world of respect, and then knowing why they were doing that and how they ended up helping that family.
Yeah,
that was one of the coolest things I was a part of.
And there was no competition. There was no friendly competition. There was just no competition.
No.
There's nobody's like snooting over plates. Like, hey, did you see what Chef so and so made?
Right.
None of that.
And they were all tasting dishes.
Yeah,
so that was super cool.
Which was awesome because you could literally eat from 14 different restaurants. But, excuse me, nobody. That was my favorite part about it.
Yeah.
Like the food was great. The people were amazing. Obviously, the farm, it was very important to all of us. But
any update on how they're doing today?
I haven't. I don't know.
Because I think if
I feel bad for
I
not
remember,
knowing,
they were
but
able to raise almost over $20,000.
They did something. Last I heard that they were still producing, but I think that their quail business actually slumped a bit.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. This is just something I heard from a friend, but they were still like killing it with chickens and eggs.
Good.
So I know their names are Quails R Us, but I really think that they have a niche for pasture chicken. I mean, their chicken, their eggs though. Like when you crack one of those yolks, that's a color like, oh boy, it's like the orange wall in the other room.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like so vibrant and beautiful and clean and the whites are. I don't know. There's something.
Gene, I listened to you talk
there's
about
something
food,
about local
man.
eggs, man.
I have a deep appreciation for the way you talk, just because you could hear the passion inside of you. I wanted to make
it's the little things.
Well, and I heard a little story too before you got here, and Julie was saying, that this was an awesome time where she had her wedding, and then afterwards she came up to you and she gave you a big hug and said that you made my wedding amazing, and then you ended up getting emotional and said something about you really. You needed that with the kind of week you were having. It was very uplifting and stuff. But I mean,
I said you're a big sweetheart.
I'm
you're
very
just a big
fortunate
sweetheart.
to have the greatest. They become so much more than just guests. And you and your hubby, like, oh man, I fell in love with that kid too. He's such a sweetheart, and yeah, it was nice. It feels good.
Can we name that, Gene, please? Can we do that today?
Friendstomers?
Well, I think that from here on out, if you go to Culinary,
Culinary. You're just, look at this
Oh
jamming
my
words
God.
together.
Oh.
Somebody hashtag that immediately and let's trademark that.
Culinary French.
Peculiar. Can you get peculiar and slurp together?
Peculiar slurp.
How about
Peculiar.
slurp?
Peculiar.
No, that's
Slurp peculiar.
Slurp
Peculiar slurp shop. If you go there now, it is 100% Friendstomer satisfaction.
Yeah, Friendstomer is where. Yeah,
I really want to see that on your menu. 100% Friendstomer satisfaction guaranteed.
you will.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to it.
He's changing up his whole menu.
I'm
as
gonna
soon
go
as
ahead
he-
and throw that in the notes though, so I don't forget.
Friendstomer satisfaction guaranteed.
Friendstomer satisfaction.
I love it. I think we should
I do
hashtag
too.
that and put that all over social and change the whole dynamics so that we could really emphasize
But
the
it's
importance of it.
and I know it's fun, but it's true. I mean, that I've been very fortunate, very fortunate, and it's nice to like become friends with people that you cater for.
It wasn't even a question when we got engaged and we were talking and we got engaged on vacation. And even before we thought about the venue, he was like, I know you're a big foodie because I eat like I'm a Viking going off to war. That's what Jim says about me.
I love that.
Yeah.
awesome.
And Brian also says that about me.
That's
I eat
awesome.
like a Viking. Yeah. And he said, I only have like one request. I want to work with Peculiar Culinary.
Oh, that's
And I'm from New Jersey, so I'll be honest, I didn't hear of Peculiar at the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
but I was like, yeah, what do they serve? And he's like, they just serve food that they're passionate about, and that's different. And I was like, okay, no
was that the
brainer.
first time we met? Was
Yeah.
when we were talking about the wedding?
Yeah. That was the first time I met you. I don't know if you met Jim before
I
that.
think yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I remember meeting him. Yeah.
But that was his request. He said, I don't care where you want to have it. I don't care how you want to have it, when, whatever, what
Yeah.
colors. He's like, but I really want to work with Peculiar.
That means the world to me.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. And you guys were amazing.
But Gene, I wanted to circle back around, and we left off with the food truck, and I still
yes.
because the end of the story here is you end up going and deciding you're going to open up a restaurant,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So I
did that.
mean is that a scary time?
It was a
That's
very
a big
it was an
commitment,
exciting
right?
time. It was super exciting. Some friends, acquaintances of ours came to us and said, there's a business developer that is buying up most of Penn Avenue in Scranton, and he's turning it into beautiful apartments, storefronts, etc. And he's looking for a restaurant or two or three. And these guys were friendstomers, as it were, for the
There we
to
go.
the food
Love
truck.
it.
And
Hashtag friends.
they used to come to the pub. I got to know Scranton people really well because we went everywhere with our truck. We actually did a ton in Lehigh Valley. That was really good for us because all the breweries and everything down there, none of them have kitchens. So we would go to Bethlehem, Hellertown, Easton, Lehighton, like everywhere. So we got to meet like quite a bit of people, and then we started going to Scranton. It was Jack's Draft House. The owner at the time, Dimitri, who now owns the 16th Ward, which is on Penn Avenue, he was looking for one day a week to do something different. And he picked his, as we would all do, pick the slower day of the week and said, let's do something together and try to, spice this up. And I forget what day of the week it was, but we started going up there, and then we started meeting Scranton people. And long story short, we met a couple. One is in marketing and social media, and I guess it's quite a similar business actually to what you guys are doing. And then the other is an architect, and they came to us one day and they said, we know this guy and he wants a restaurant, and you guys are kind of funky and fun, and they said, would you be interested? And I said, well, yeah, 100%. And they said, well, he wants every place to look like sharp, so he'll help build it out. And then I don't know, kind of a weird thing. I'm trying to figure out how to describe this without sounding weird. He would build it for us, and we pay him for it. I don't know why I thought
Build
that
the
sounded
suit.
weird. He would build the suit. Yeah. And he had a great eye. I don't know, for his design ideas, and then we used our architecture friend, obviously, helped plan, and the three of us just really clicked with.
Your place looks amazing.
Thank you very much. That means a lot. We just really wanted to have a funky restaurant that you would never see in Scranton.
Well, and here's
That
the
was
thing.
my goal.
You have another one of those places that when you go into, you don't feel like you're in the area. Right.
Honestly, that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
And not to take away from Scranton. I'm just trying to, I really want it to be a part of making Scranton, Northeast PA, whatever, like, cool. And,
I feel like I'm 3
funkier
blocks off the village
better,
or something.
You know? We really wanted to do something different. We toyed around with different ideas for the restaurant. Obviously, everything came up from the gastropub thing to the taco. But we were doing ramen pop-ups at the Keys, which was a bar that was across the street from where we are now. We were doing them like every Friday. She basically gave us her kitchen every Friday and said, just do your thing. And then, I don't know, it just kind of took off from there. And we were killing it there on Fridays. And we said, let's do this.
So what's your number one seller?
Our pork belly ramen.
Pork belly ramen?
Yeah. It's the first thing. It's the first bowl we ever made from a pop-up back when we were in Houston, actually, at that fire department. At the time, this was this was a long time ago. Feels like it anyway. We had, I was really into David Chang and Momofuku, and we used to go to his noodle bar often in the city.
Awesome.
And I fell in love with his broth. So like I looked at the cookbook and just kind of like went with that. And then it slowly started developing into my thing. So I started with like the traditional bases of like the dashi and the kombu and the katsuobushi and different things and the pork bones. And then I just kind of started wandering into like doing, like adding my own things to it. And then it became, I guess, kind of like our broth that's super inspired by him. And that recipe has never changed since probably like the fourth or fifth pop-up we did as it sort of evolved. So the first one we ever did was his recipe to a T, you know, because it was our first time. And then when I started learning, reading other books, going to other restaurants, you know, I've never had the pleasure to go to Japan, unfortunately, but it was just never in the cards. So we would go to the city. We'd go to Philly. We'd go to Manhattan, you know, and just try different things and meet different people and try to meet the chefs and make friends and tell them that, you know, what we loved and passionate about. And
so for anybody who hasn't visited your place yet and anybody who's listening to this, you were to give them just like a quick, simple description of what they can expect by coming to your restaurant, what sorts of dishes, what sort of flavors, what would be a quick way for you to explain that to them?
We do some Tokyo-style ramen dishes. We do Korean-style rice dishes. And then our appetizer small plate is everything in between. We just kind of get real funky and have fun with it. From things like spicy tuna wonton tacos, where we take like gyoza shells and fry them into taco shape, and then we make like the classic spicy tuna that you're familiar with, and infuse it with scallions and wasabi tobiko, and
that's wild. We
do a lot of cool appetizers. That's like one of my favorite parts is doing the fun things on the app menu. We actually have a couple sandwiches on now.
Do you do poke at all?
Poke, yeah, especially in the summertime.
I love that
we usually have a full poke menu. So we'll do like 3 different bases. We'll do the wakame seaweed salad. We'll do sticky sushi rice or spinach scented ramen noodles that we toss in our homemade pickled ginger rice wine vinaigrette, and then we just build on top. So pick your base, and then we build on top of that. So we'll do the spicy tuna. We did a wasabi salmon this year. We did like a miso and smoked soy ponzu hamachi. You know, just dice it up and let it marinate for a little, you know, and then avocado, all the familiar fun stuff that people love. A lot of pickled things. We pickle a lot. So, because we love acid, we love crunch, we like texture. So there's always like pickled onions, our pickled cucumbers we've had since the very first pop-up. Yeah, we'll pickle anything if we could. You know? And we just try to have fun. So yeah, poke is a big one. Bao buns, we always have bao buns on. Those are the white steamy little sliders, Jones. And
yeah, they're so puffy.
So yeah, we've been, you know, just trying to have some fun.
So what's next, Gene?
That's an interesting question because that's it's coming up soon. Actually,
is it a secret?
I can't really say it's a secret, but there's some big changes coming up. That's like our only constant is that we constantly change.
Okay,
and we always evolve. Whether from pop-up food truck menu to catering to the restaurant. Now it's time for a change. We're not leaving location because we have a cool place.
Yeah, you do.
But we are redesigning it quite like a bit.
Oh yeah.
And there's gonna be a big change coming up.
Oh.
Not so much that you can't come and get a bowl of pork belly ramen, but
It's the other stuff you can get.
There's going to be a lot of other things. We're going to open up the world a little bit. The menu, is going to.
Are you just going to one day do it, or are you going to have a private party first?
We're definitely.
I'm just saying, if you have a private party, I want an invite.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, we have to do a soft opening for sure. Because you have to. But I mean, I don't know. What the hell? I guess for all intents and purposes, it's going to be a whole new restaurant.
Okay.
That is
Wow.
really cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we have a new name, new logo coming up.
What?
wow.
New name?
Yeah. Peculiar's
Okay.
still in the name.
Yeah.
Culinary?
No. It's I don't.
Nah, we'll keep it a
Yeah.
secret.
We want to wait and
I'm
see
terrible
this.
at keeping.
I don't
will
know. I
keep-
mean, can this podcast be the breaking point?
I will keep your secrets till the day I die. My own, I'm so freaking terrible
how I
at.
am,
I'm
too.
just the worst.
I mean, if you want to break the news here on this podcast, that's cool. Go ahead.
Well, I think I probably went far enough. I want to, but
All right, we'll
So-
keep it under wrap.
there's like this. I kind of wrote like this mission statement in the sense that I'm going to put out, and the last line basically says from passion to travel to family to things that we love, we are going to cook whatever the fuck we want. And that's going to be our base for the Peculiar Kitchen, which is the name of the restaurant.
Well, I want to wrap on that.
Yep.
Gene, thanks so much for
Thanks
joining
for
us.
having me.
Yeah, this was really
great.
awesome, man. Hearing your story was completely amazing.
Thank you.
I've always been interested in learning more about you because I've heard so much.
Oh, thanks. That means a lot. I
I'm a
really
big
appreciate
foodie,
that.
man. I mean, not that you can't tell by looking at
Oh,
me, but
come on.
but no, this has been awesome. This was a lot of fun.
I had yeah.
and I
thank
love
you
you're
for-
animated. This is good. I mean,
This is awesome.
I love the whole
You
thing.
guys are very nice, and I just wanted to chat.
Yeah, well, and we don't.
We could go another hour.
We probably
yeah,
could,
but
but I really do enjoy you. I do enjoy your company, and I appreciate you coming down and spending the time with us. And
I appreciate you guys having me.
I
have
hope
a
you'll
question
come back
for you,
again.
real quick.
Yeah.
though. Is that Jim Cornette?
that's
No,
me.
that's him.
That's me as a kid.
Does
Yeah.
anybody in here know who Jim Cornette is?
I don't want to know who Jim Cornette is.
All that heading on, I'm pretty sure I might have found my new best friend over here. By
Yeah.
the way,
Yeah, you Beard Brothers.
come on. Does that not look like Jim Cornette? At least from a side distance, right?
That's so funny.
No, that
Do you know
was
who
me
Jim
as-
Cornette is?
I don't. I don't know if I want
Oh, he was a promoter
WWE?
and a wrestling manager.
to. Okay.
Yeah, he used to. You might remember he was a manager. He always managed the bad guys. He would come down to the ring with a tennis racket.
Oh, I remember that
Yeah,
guy.
but he wore those glasses and had
Oh
that
yeah,
head
you do look
hair,
like him.
And
That does
Oh,
look
God.
like
There he
him.
is.
Brian pulled it
Yeah.
up on the screen for us.
yeah,
no.
yeah. Jim
With that
Cornette.
red suit matching the red socks.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
there
I
you
see
go.
it. I see it.
All right. Well, on that
There
note,
he is. That's the same picture.
no.
Oh my God!
Jim
Did you
Cornette
guys know
out.
Jim Cornette lives in Northeast Pennsylvania.
For anybody that
Under an
hasn't seen
assumed
Frank
name.
Sepko, just look up Jim Cornette and you will see Frank as a child.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna make a little Instagram picture of the two of them together.
All right,
Get a
guys.
pic-
Well,
Is that a
listen,
tie? Do
we're
you
gonna-
sell those?
Those
that's
are
a
socks.
sock. That's a sock.
I got my wife's socks just like that, but they have the dogs on them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Jim has boxers with my face on them.
Oh, that's so nice. This Christmas, I'm gonna get her socks with your face on it, though.
Oh, fantastic.
Seems apropos. I'm gonna
All
take
right,
a
guys.
picture
Thanks
of
for
that.
tuning into another episode of Getting to Know the 570. This has been an awesome episode. Hey, Gene, if anybody wants to come visit you, where can they find you?
307 Penn Avenue in Scranton.
Okay.
Or you can check out peculiarslurp.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and I guess Twitter. All of our 6 followers.
Awesome.
I don't know why nobody in Northeast PA doesn't use Twitter, but they don't. But yeah, you could find us all the time. We're open this week. It's Valentine's weekend, so we're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is super rare because Sunday we don't open, but it's Valentine's Day. So we're gonna do like a supper thing. We're gonna open 12 to 5. Try to do some cool stuff. Might make some meatloaf. Not sure yet.
Oh,
Got some really cool dry aged steaks in 48 days. Beautiful fresh scallops are on their way. But nothing crazy. Like, it's totally going to be like super affordable, and we're just going to have some fun. And if you want to just come down and get romantic and slurp on a couple bowls of noodles, we're the place to do it. So we'll have some fun.
that sounds
We'll
awesome.
play some loud music and have some cold beer, mostly local. Actually, pretty much all of it is local. So yeah, it'll be fun.
All right. Well, you heard it. You heard it right from Gene's mouth. So everybody go see go see Gene at his location. We'd love to hear your feedback. Anybody who would be interested in learning more about being a guest here on Getting to Know the 570, please feel free to reach out to us on Facebook. But thank you again for tuning in and listening, and please subscribe where possible and share, spread the word, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for tuning in to Getting to Know the 570. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and follow ConversionWorx on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn to stay up to date on future shows and events. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, send us a direct message on Facebook. Until next time, keep eating, drinking, and shopping local.